Well, you know what? The festivals here, I feel, were like the biggest and most organized ones. And I think America kind of wanted to have their part into that festival. It kind of started here, you know, like you had those crazy, amazing festivals, and it just kind of translated into the US.
Full Force Festival 2024. It's humid as fuck, and I'm so sorry that saying that, but look at my face, and it's so hot here, and it's still getting hotter because we have Simple Plan here in our interview booth. Thank you, man.
How you doing?
Hey,
I'm fine. How are you?
we're good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome to the most pet metal place on earth, like Winston from Parkway Drive once said about this festival. How is it to play in Full Force Festival?
Well, to be honest, we'll see tonight. I don't know. I'm excited to be a part of it. It's a great lineup. Lots of good bands. I mean, I wish we could be on the same day as Bad Religion. That would be
Architects, dude.
Yeah,
Come on, that's going to be great.
Okay. Is it something like you prepare different for different festivals, or you say, okay, we go there and we'll do a hell of a show?
We just get rid of the popular songs off the set,
Yeah.
and we just hope for the best. No, you know what? We Simple Plan is Simple Plan, you know, and we have a fan base in Germany that's, you know, very strong. So we're just gonna play our set and have a lot of fun, you know. And it's really not super scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how in Europe, and it's something that we said often, but it's so cool to be able to have a kind of festival where you can have, you know, heavy bands, you can have punk rock bands, you can have pop punk bands, and they all coexist, and the fans all love it.
Yeah.
And there's none of this like, oh, we don't listen to that stuff. Everybody's so open, you know, in their musical taste, and it's really great. And I think that when we were a bit younger in our career, we would have looked at that and been like, oh, I don't know if we're going to fit here. And now it just feels like we have a bit more of confidence that it's like, hey, we, like Jeff was saying, like we are who we are, and people seem to like enjoy it. And I think that now we can play these kind of festivals and feel right at home. So it's kind of cool, especially here in Europe, because people, again, there's really this just something special about big European festival where people are very open-minded, and they can rock out to the heaviest stuff, and then they can go to a Simple Plan show and enjoy it. And it's just really, really cool to see that for us.
But that's funny, like you said that, because I have the feeling that people in Europe always are looking what happens in the US, and they see When We Were Young Fest, and they see Coachella, and say, okay, I need to go there. And now you say the opposite.
Well, you know what? The festivals here, I feel, were like the biggest and most organized ones. And I think America kind of wanted to have their part into that festival. It kind of started here, you know, like you had those crazy, amazing festivals, and it just kind of translated into the US. But I think nowadays what's happening is that with the internet and you know, how easy it is to travel, I think that people are going to America, you know, to see When We Were Young. They'll come here to see, you know, certain lineups that are cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier now than ever to just travel and follow the bands that you love. And we see it a lot. There are a lot of German fans that travel and see Simple Plan, you know, in weird places. Brazil, I've seen it happen in the US often. I think that's what's going on right now.
But I think it's interesting. I don't think people realize how good they had it here for so long. You know, like how, like, because they're used to it. Oh, you know, these are our own festivals. It's always been there. They kind of take it for granted, and then they look at something else and they go, "Oh, that looks so much cooler." But really, like, this is, like Jeff was saying, this is where it all started. And I think it was the inspiration for many North American festivals. The whole, like, you know, scene here in Europe in the summer. So. And there's so many. You can play for like almost 2 months straight, and you could be doing festivals every weekend. So
that's right.
I think it's very common, and maybe it's kind of like people don't realize just how special it is. But for us coming here, there's definitely something very unique about it.
It's amazing that you say that. So thank you for that feedback, because this is something you normally not hear from people.
Grass is always greener. You know, you look at other places,
That's
and you're
right.
like, oh, it's going to be cooler there. But I've been talking about German festivals to people like, you know, for 25 years, saying how crazy they are, how big and well organized they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy. You mentioned your tours where you always played. You've traveled a lot this year already.
Oh yeah, it was a big year.
Yeah, you did Europe, Australia, South America. Now Europe again. I mean, what were the highlights?
Well,
It's a big year.
Yeah, it's been a big year. I mean, it's been great to be able to, you know, to play all these amazing places. I love Brazil. I thought it was just, absolutely insane. And if I didn't mention it, our Brazilian fans would be very, very unhappy right now. So I have to say it.
Yeah.
I would say it was really special because we got the headline all over Europe, and we got to. It had been a long time that we hadn't done that. We did it towards Sum 41 before that, and then it was the pandemic. So it's so playing again these big shows on our own was really cool. We had state champs and we had Mayday Parade with us, which was an amazing lineup. That was really cool. I would say Australia was pretty rad as well. And I think it's cool to come back now and do the festival, so now we can play to even more people and reach more people, and then hopefully next year come back and again do our own thing. I think we're in this really special moment with the band. We're all very motivated. We all want to keep playing, and and the shows are getting bigger, and there's more people kind of joining the fan base. So it's a cool moment. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to ride that wave and enjoy it.
I totally get it. And this sounds amazing. I mean, you also have like 2 shows between all the festivals here in Germany, in Saarbrücken and in Frankfurt, both sold out. So
and that was quick, like literally like in a few weeks, boom. So it's amazing. It just goes to show we've been coming here since 2002, I think, the first time we came to Germany. Actually, Germany was the first place we ever toured outside of Canada. Like literally the first country we ever traveled to. It took a long time at first. Like the first time we played here, we played this place called Hanover, and there was 5 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
So it was very humble beginnings. We really came from absolutely nothing. Nobody knew us, and just kept coming back, doing the festivals, doing our own stuff. And now it feels like, in a way, the band is the biggest it's ever been here. So it's kind of cool. It only took 25 years, but we're here.
Exactly, that thing is my next topic, because you said the band is the biggest like it was ever, and it's 25 years. It's the anniversary from the very beginning of your band. What has changed in that time, or is it something? Is it just something that hasn't changed?
In a band, there are a lot of highs and lows, and it just kind of moves a lot. But I think what's changed nowadays is that we were very happy to be touring, and the biggest thing that's changed was the pandemic. It took our passion away from us. It took our lives completely, and then we came back, and it was just so beautiful to be back with a crowd and in communion with a crowd. So I'm very grateful for that, and I think we all are. So if anything, it gave us a sense. It reminded us how lucky we are to be doing what we're doing. And it's grown a lot, since the pandemic, even before. I guess our genre is doing really well. I think people are stoked to be, listening to Simple Plan. I think people just want to be outside and be around other people, listening to the music that they love. So I would say that's the biggest thing. It's probably our attitude. Our attitude is better than ever, towards what we're doing. I think we're very grateful.
Sounds totally clear to me. When you started in a very, very it was a great time for rock and metal music. I mean, we had MTV, the Vans Warped Tour, all the things. You were there a lot of times, and now we're like 20 to 25 years later, and you get the feeling that rock music is coming back, especially after the pandemic. It seems like everyone is listening to rock and metal and punk rock and everything. Do you think that this second revival, thinking of when we were young, with the younger people also listening to the music and TikTok and everything, do you think that this will be bigger than that, like it before?
It seems to be. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's always something special when something just comes out, right? And it's like that energy of being in the new band, being like the new movement and everything. So I think there's something it's hard to recreate that. But I think what you have now is people that were very passionate about that kind of music, and maybe they went away for a little while and they like listened to something else, or they kind of, music wasn't as central in their lives, and now they're like in their 30s or maybe early 40s, and they realize like, man, like this was a special time in my life. I have so many memories, so many like nostalgia from that, and I love that music, and when I listen to it, it brings me back instantly to that time. And I think that people, when you get a bit older, there's something really special about going back and kind of listening to the music that forged your teenage years. There's just something about that it's powerful. Just really, it brings you back, and things were simpler. And I think for me, like the music that I grew up with when I was a teenager, it's still my favorite music. So I can understand why it's happening to this whole generation of people. So I think for our band, it's going to be a really interesting, the next 10 years is going to be really fun, because I think we're going to, play some of the biggest shows we ever play. And it's kind of like, it feels like Jeff was saying, it really motivates you to keep going. And I think that what's really special about the band is that we've reached a point where I think that if we want to keep going, we can keep going as long as we want. And to have that luxury to know that, like, okay, you can be a band and we can do this and it's not going to be taken away from us. It's pretty nice,
Looking on the younger audience, you released 2 songs after, your last record is 2 years ago. And in the meantime, you released a feature with Lolo, you released a feature with Jax. How is it to work with younger artists like them? And what do you think? What is with this new generation of musicians coming, playing punk rock, pop punk, or whatever?
We've always loved collaborating with other artists. It brings a cool energy. Sometimes, well, it needs to add something to the music, and if we release it, we do feel that these artists brought something special to the music, Thinking about Jax, for instance, the level of energy that girl has is insane, and it's just beautiful to see people that are just so stoked, to be on a stage and to be with you doing music. So I think it's very healthy. It's a good way to keep the energy level high, and I think it also brings, Simple Plan to an audience that would not necessarily know about us, and that's it. And the opposite also happens, Jax gets heard, through the Simple Plan community. So I think it's a win-win. It's always cool to do.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of a problem with our, rock and pop punk and like the metal scene. There's just a lot of dudes. And, and it's just guys. And it's a lot of like, white guys everywhere. And I think it's really cool to try to do our part to change that, to add some diversity, to bring in some girls. Like it's an important, I think we look at it as like, if we can try to help and be a part of that change, I think it's using our platform in a really cool way. And it's trying to have a positive impact on the musical scene, try to help younger artists that are trying to break through and, offer them like, hey, come and play on our stage. And I think when the audience sees that, they go like, oh, like Simple Plan love these artists, I'm going to check them out, and I think that hopefully helps, change the scene, make it less like the same.
Male.
Yeah, which I think is cool, and I'm really proud to be a part of that.
Definitely. It's absolutely in that way. Can we expect more collaborations like this?
Yeah, I think we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep trying to collaborate, try to, bring cooler young artists on tour. I think it keeps us, we don't want the show to just be like all these bands from 2002. I think it's really cool to embrace what's happening in the scene, to try to bring this young energy and offer our whatever platform to these younger bands. I think it's really cool, and I think we're gonna keep doing it. I think it's creative for us. It's fun. It keeps it exciting, and I think I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody in the band, but I feel like it's part of our role as well as an older band. Like, we got helped by older bands when we came up. Like Blink was on our first
I agree,
record,
100%.
and I think that, and they had no reason to do that, really, aside from just trying to help the next generation of bands. So I think that we see that could be a pretty cool role to play as well in the scene,
Perhaps like a record with different collaborations, or what are the plans for the future for Simple Plan? The last record is 2 years ago.
Well, we want to keep, putting out some new music. Obviously, being on the road makes it difficult. It postpones it, but we will make new music. And who knows, as I said earlier, it has to serve the music. It has to serve the song, but we're really open to that idea. I think it's a cool concept.
Sounds cool. Guys, thank you very much for the interview.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the interview. You know the things with YouTube. Subscribe, click everything you can click. Thank you for watching.